Hi, I'm pleased to present to you the new features of our Cubicost TAS version 5.0.0.998. So there are a lot of enhancement for this patch, but we will be focusing on the four new features embedded on the software, namely the segmentation, revision, cross modeling, and identification check. So just to give you an idea for these new features, the segmentation is just a new type of element. So this element can be used for dividing models in order to extract the quantities or just even the partial quantities of the model. So under this segmentation, we have four types. So these are the construction zone, subcontracting, progress claims, and custom segmentation, depending on your scenario. The second one is the revision. And the revision pertains to the drawing changes. So if we have a original and a revised drawing, the software can actually help you compare these drawings automatically. And the software is intelligent enough to save your previous work before making or applying the changes or variation orders. And lastly, if we have the original values and the revised or changed values, we can actually compare them via view change quantity. And it enables us to find the deductions, additions, and overall differences of the quantities. The next is the truss modeling. So we will be modeling the truss via a feature called work plane. And this will help us speed up our work. So the work plane is just a function that will let us create a sectional view with respect to the tertiary axis or the z axis. So if we are on the zx or the zy axis, it will let us trace the truss section plan if we have, making it easier or an easy alternative to the traditional way of changing the attribute elevation. Lastly, for the identification check, so identification check is just a sub-element or a sub-function of the overall beam auto-identification feature. So it will detect and highlight all the errors from the model if there are. And it will help us track our progress in making these modifications. So all of these new features will be discussed in a detailed manner on the next videos. Hi, for this video, I would like to discuss about our new feature called the segmentation. So before we dive into the technicality on how to operate it in our software, let me just first discuss you guys no kung ano po ang importance nitong segmentation and why did we develop it. Okay? So we all know na in a setup or a construction setup, the typical scenario is that we have the what we call pre-contract and the post-contract stage. Okay, and in the pre-contract stage, this is where the BIM shines. No, the BIM technology shines because we can model, we can quantity take off, and we can cost the structure. No, by just by the plans. Okay, and on the construction stage naman po, no, we can check for clashes, no? For clashes, for actual site conditions based on the model or the plans we have, no, to compare. But sometimes the software uh, lose its effectiveness, no, when it comes to the latter portions of the post contract, especially on the final contract because yung mga progress claims po kasi natin, if we are on a design and build projects, we have a lot of variation orders, hindi po na-document mabuti. Okay? Hindi po na-document mabuti yung changes. So, our main goal here is we want the software to participate in every stages of the construction. Of course, tender stage, we are very adept, no? The software is adept in the tender stage, no? And pagdating po sa final account, medyo nawawalan po yung participation ni software because mostly nangingibabaw po yung mga paperworks and minsan yung mga quantity take-offs doon kasi maliliit lang siya, no? So ginagawa na lang po sa site, nagma-manual na lang. Okay? So via segmentation, we can actually eliminate that limitation, no? So on the first part of the post contract, yung kapag nagko-concreting po tayo, we know that if we have a very large, no, structure, we are limited to the area of concreting, no? Yung concreting works and also the laying of the formworks because we need to divide it strategically per zones, no? So that's why we have a function called construction zone. So this construction zone is an element under the segmentation that we have right now. So the purpose of this is to for the site or the construction to plan ahead, okay, and to have a view on how many quantity or how much quantities they need, no, for a certain zone of the structure. Next, pag sa bandang finishing naman po, no, we have the subcontracting. For example, there's a uh, uh, paint subcontractor, there's a waterproofing subcontractor. Kailangan po kasi natin i-divide yung work, no? So and also to progress the or to monitor the progress, no, of each subcontractor. And the segmentation, specifically the subcontracting element, can deal with that also. Okay. And lastly, sa progress claims naman, obviously, just like I said before, na instead of taking off manually yung mga additionals, yung mga variation orders, we can actually incorporate it to the model and then get the estimates, okay, get the takeoffs separately kahit gaano pa po kaliit yan. Okay? So, I just wanna discuss to you about the workflow summary, no? So, this is actually a 5-step rule, no? So, the first one is we create a segmentation. For example, ito pong construction zone or subcontracting or progress claims like we discussed before. We just need to choose our desired zone, no, or desired segmentation. Next is after we choose our desired segmentation, we want to limit the calculation scope. Obviously, kapag nasa subcontracting tayo, ginagamit natin siya mostly sa mga finishes or maybe sa, yun nga po, mga miscellaneous works, no? Like exterior paintings or waterproofings or ceiling or drywall erecting, something like that, no? So pwede po natin i-set yung calculation scope into finishes only. Ngayon, kapag nasa structural stage naman po tayo, we can set it as the following structural elements we have right now, like the columns, the beams, and the slabs. So in that way, kapag nag-segment po tayo, hindi po lahat ng elements makukuha ni software, just the ones that we selected. Now, the third and the fourth is, actually the fourth one is optional, pero yung third one po is that's the time that we will create. Okay, we will create the segmentation area. So as you can see, napaka-organized po, no? We have the progress claims on different months as example below, no? So if I highlight, for example, this progress claims for July 2020, the software will classify or it will categorize all the values per date, no? So we have the freedom po mamaya to choose what progress claims are we talking about. Now, this is optional yung adjust entity. So for example, meron pong nasama sa area na hindi naman po dapat. So we can set or adjust the associated segmentation. We can disregard or include some elements on the chosen segmentations that we are doing right now. And of course, lastly, we want to view the quantities. This is the important part, no? So as you can see, meron po tayong mga progress claims that's divided per months. So I will try to show you all these steps, no? These steps and these procedures as we proceed with the software. Okay? Hi. Sa lesson na po ito, i-discuss natin ang tinatawag na construction segmentation. So, ang construction segmentation po ay ginagamit para kunin ang partial quantities ng structure based sa area na ating i-cover. So, sa example po nito, pupunta po tayo sa element navigation panel at ipipress ang segmentation. After that ay gagawa po tayo ng panibagong element. Meron po tayong 4 na element. Construction zone, subcontracting, progress claim, and custom quantity. But for now po, ang gagamitin natin ay construction zone. Then after po ay papapiliin tayo ni software kung ano pong elements ang considered sa ating construction zone na gagamitin. So for this example, gagamit lang po tayo ng structural elements such as columns, beams, and slabs. Pag nag-press po ako ng OK, magkakaroon po ng panibagong element sa ating list. So ang plano po natin ngayon for this example is i-divide sa 3 ang ating structure. Yung first segment, yung second or yung middle segment, and yung third segment or last segment. So ang gagawin ko po ay magka-copy pa ako ng 2 pang construction zone by pressing this copy command. And para po mas visually clear ang ating model, iibahin ko po ang kulay ng bawat construction zone. Pupunta lang po ako sa display settings, dito sa may attribute editor. Then fill color at babaguhin ko lang po based sa aking preference. So yung una po gagawin nating orange. Yung pangalawa gagawin nating red. And yung last po is gagawin nating blue. Ngayon, na-ready na po tayo gumawa ng construction segmentation. I'll just go to draw at pupunta po ako sa drawing panel natin or drawing ribbon. Pwede po akong pumili sa 4 na choices. Pwede pong line, rectangle, 3-point arc or yung point arc system, and then yung secondary axis. So gagamit po ako ng rectangle for this example. And yung procedure po ay same as before. Dragging top to bottom, left to right. Make sure na i-cover po lahat ng kasama sa construction segmentation or construction zone. Gagawin ko rin po yung second construction zone. Automatic po si software ay nagtitrim kapag meron pong collision sa ating construction zone. And lastly, yung sa third construction zone. Now, after that po, ika-quantify na natin ang ating model. Pupunta lang po ako sa calculate. And ika-calculate ko lang po ang current floor and current zone natin. Press OK. And after po mag-calculate, pwede na po natin i-view yung quantity via View Quantity by Category. Select ko lang po yung zone and yung floor. And then press OK. And after that po, para mapalabas natin yung construction zone natin, I'll just go to Set Classification and Quantity. And i-click ko lang po yung construction zone as one of the attributes para ma-sort or ma-filter ni software. And press OK. At makikita po natin na meron po tayong 3 klase ng values divided depending sa construction zones. Okay, so i-close ko lang po ito at ngayon po ay investigate natin paano nagko-compute si software. So ang magiging example po natin ay BIMs. Pupunta lang po ako sa BIMs. And then pupunta po ako sa view expression. And then pipiliin po natin itong BIM na ito as our example, yung KL13. And makikita po natin sa expression that we have two values here. No? Meron po tayong dalawang values. Meron po tayong yung green as the original values and yung gold or brown as the segmentation values. So for the green values, ito po yung usual quantities natin and usual expressions. Ito po ay without consideration or without considering yung segmentation. And then afterwards po, sa ilalim, mapapansin natin na considering segmentation naman po. And yung segmentation is based on the area covered. Okay? Area covered. And then it will be used no to find the percentage no nung ating uh, selected structure. So for example, for this BIM po no, na-cover po niya first construction zone yung 50% ng total area based sa ating drawing. So ang formula po ni software is 50% times the original volume. And if you go sa second construction segmentation or construction zone, 50% rin po ang ginawa ni software sa ating computation. So obviously kapag in-add po natin yung first and yung second zones, mag-a-arrive po tayo sa original quantities. So ayun lang po ang lesson natin for construction segmentation. Maraming salamat po. Hi, in this video, I would like to discuss about the new feature of the TAS software revisions. So before we dive into the actual implementation of the revisions in the software, I just want to share with you what's the idea behind this. Okay, so now going back po to the construction stages that we have, uh, we know that the revisions will benefit mostly on the pre-contract and the middle part of the post-contract, especially if we are on the design and build situation. So why pre-contract? Because this is the design stage. No? There are a lot of revisions po when it comes to plans before the final or the as per construction plans are released. No? So to cope up po sa mga revisions na yun, we implemented this revision rule of the software wherein the software can actually overlay yung previous plans natin sa plans natin that we have or the latest plans that we have. So no matter how many revisions we have, no, if we don't, we can actually or systematically take off the quantities of this revision. Okay, so the revision is just a five-step rule. Okay, so what's the importance of the revision? The software will help you in tracing even the smallest and the most unnoticeable changes for you to decide if it's significant. And second, it will actually save time in a manual takeoff and proper documentation because yung software po magsisave ng panibagong file just for the before model or the before quantities. So that kung, for example, mali po yung revisions, pwede nating balikan. Okay? And lastly, it will give you confidence to your work when summarizing because it will give you the changes in quantities. Okay? So for the step-by-step procedure or the workflow, It's very easy, no? Again, it's just a five-step rule, just like in the segmentation. Okay, so the first thing is we want to go to revision and click drawing changes. So just make sure that before clicking the drawing changes, you will overlay the after or the revised drawing first on your model. And then next, we will compare it to the before drawings. And we will set a certain tolerance. So papakita ko po mamaya sa inyo to. And then afterwards, we will press the button add revision. This is the first button on the revision ribbon. So what this will do is magsisave po ito ng panibagong file. And this file is kumbaga a copy or a backup file wherein there's no revision applied yet. Okay? And then the third step is to actually apply the changes in the model based on the revision. So naka-guide na po sa atin no kung ano po yung mga items na added, deleted, and unchanged. No? These are in colors green, red, and gray. So papakita ko rin po mamaya ito. Next, if you are finished with the revision or multiple revisions, you can just click Finish Revision. And finally, we can view the change quantity. So as you can see in the screen, we have the quantities that were added or changed and deducted. So may color coding rin po siya for better tracking. Okay, so that's the quick overview of the construction revisions when operating it on the software. So let's try to do it. Let's try to do it in actual. So let me just share you guys. Hi. Ngayon po ay i-discuss natin ang tinatawag na drawing revisions. So paalala lang po muna, kailangan po na secure na natin lahat ng kailangang drawing sa ating drawing manager. Ngayon po meron po akong original at revised drawing. Bago po tayo magsimula, i-overlay ko po muna ang aking revised drawing sa aking model. After po nun ay pupunta tayo sa revision tab at drawing changes. Sa drawing changes po, i-compare natin ang revised drawing sa original drawing. So sa compare with po, ilalagay natin ay original drawing. Yung tolerance po nakadepende sa inyo, pero isi-set po natin siya as 10 mm. So kung nakaset po na 10 mm, i-disregard po ni software ang lahat ng changes below 10 mm difference. Press compare. At para po mas malinaw, i-off ko po muna ang ating element display. Makikita po natin na lahat ng naka-green ay dinagdag at lahat ng naka-red ay binawas. At yung mga hindi po nagalaw ay naka-color gray. Ngayon, pipindutin ko po ang Add Revision. Ang ginagawa po nito ay sinesave po muna ang previous work natin. Wala pong revision para magkaroon po tayo ng backup if ever kailangan po natin balikan. So, ang pangalan po nito ay Revision 01 or ito po ang ating before drawings. Press OK. Automatically, magka-calculate po si software para ma-record niya po ang lahat ng values bago natin baguhin. So, pangalawa po niyan is pwede na po nating i-apply ang ating drawing revisions. So, sa example na ito ay magbabawas lang po muna tayo ng deleted items. Pupunta po ako sa beams. Ipindutin ko lang po ulit yung drawing changes para mag-overlay ulit. At i-delete ko po lahat ng beams na sobra. Matapos po i-delete, punta naman po tayo sa columns. Drawing changes. At i-delete ko naman po lahat ng column na sobra kagaya nito. Ngayon, pagkatapos po mag-delete, gusto po natin makita ang ating values muna ng mga nabawas. Pupunta po ako sa Finish Revision at automatically i-compute po ni software ang panibagong quantities. Pag pumunta po ako sa View Change Quantity, papapiliin po ako ni software kung ano po yung previous quantity na gusto natin i-compare sa ating revised quantity. Press OK. Pipiliin ko lang po yung range na gustong kung i-compute ng software at makikita na po natin sa ating view change quantity ang mga nadagdag at nabawas. Since nagbawas lang po tayo, ito po ang ating before revision and then after revision. At nabawasan po ito ng 1.23 cubic meter na volume based po sa ating mga dinilit. Ganun po gumamit ng drawing revisions. Nag-overlay lang po tayo at pagkatapos ay ina-apply natin ang changes. Pagkatapos po ay kino-compare natin ang before sa after values. Ayun lang po at maraming salamat. Hi, in this video we will be discussing about truss modeling, specifically by the use of what we call the work plane. So the work plane is actually a new feature of our TAS software. So it will help us speed up and be accurate in modeling space structures such as the warehouses and other steel structures. Okay, so before we dive into the technicality of the work plane command, I just want to give you guys a short scenario wherein this is very helpful. So supposing that we have a truss structure or a warehouse structure, previously you need to use a combination of steel column and also steel beams to draw the truss. And after that, you should continuously adjust the elevation and the information on the plan, which is very time consuming because alam naman po natin na in limitations natin in modeling is just a on the x and the y axis. Now, kapag nagmo-model po tayo ng warehouse, usually these are space truss or space structures wherein meron pong z axis, no? So the focus or the goal of the work plane is to cut a section. Okay, cut a section so that we can produce the third axis, which is the z-axis. So pwede po natin mag-draw in terms of x and z or y and z. Okay, so uh, yung traditional way of doing it will take a lot of time. For this example, it will take you at least 20 minutes. It depends on the experience of the user. But for the new feature, yung work plane, it can you can actually model the whole structure in just 5 minutes. So the work plane has only three steps, no, before you actually model the structure. So the first thing is you need to create the work plane first, and this is only applicable for steel beams. Okay, for steel beams as of the moment, and then afterward you will after you create the work plane and identify the work plane in the drawing area, we can now draw the model as per the like, as per the drawing we have right now. We can actually trace the section of a truss system. Okay, and then afterwards we can switch back to the original x and y view by switching to no work plane view. Okay, so 3 steps, and I will show you guys how to do this in the actual software scenario. Okay. Hi, for this example, we will be doing the truss framing system, and we will be using what we call the working plane. So the working plane is a simplified method in modeling the members on the Z direction or on the Z plane. Okay, so for this example, I have two plans right here. I have the floor plan and I have the sectional view. And we will trace this later on when we use the working plane po. Okay? So, yung truss section po natin is T2-D. Okay? T2-D. And right now, I already prepared the structural members for this truss T2-D. And yung steel beam number 1 is the top and the bottom chord of this structure. So the dimension is 400 by 450. Now, the steel beam number 2 naman po is the dimension of that is 200 by 250, and these are the axial members po ng ating truss. Okay? So let me guys show you first no kung paano po gumawa in a traditional way, and we will compare it no how efficient the working plane compared to the traditional way. So sa traditional way po, I'll just switch to the top and bottom chord. And the first thing I will do is I will check the elevation. So we will start first with the elevation 00, and we will draw the STB-01 or the top and the bottom or the bottom chord of our truss. So I'll just snap it here, and then i-snap ko rin po dito, and then right click to continue. No? So makikita po natin meron po tayong um, bottom chord, okay? And we will also model the top chord, pero the tricky part is kailangan po tama yung ating elevation. So I will set this as plus 1.8 meters as shown previously, no? And I will draw it on the same Z plane, no? I will draw it on the same Z plane. And after snapping, we will view it on a 3D mode. Okay, so ito po yung magiging itsura niya on a 3D mode. So you'll notice no na parang wala po tayong assurance kung tama or mali yung ginawa natin because we don't have the like actual visual representation of the z-axis. So right now nakikita lang natin yung top view but we don't know the elevations if correct or not unless we view it on a 3D. And same goes with the members, no? So for example, if I create an actual member right here, I change the elevation for the stop and the end elevation para po mag-mimic dun sa diagonal formation ng ating uh, axis or actual members. So, pag dinrawing ko po ito, I don't know if this is correct, no? I don't know if this is correct, but if I view it on 3D, dun ko lang po malalaman. Okay, so again, kung gusto kong i-continue, I need to edit this again, no? Yung ating elevations. And then continue the actual members. Okay, so right now I need to check this again because I don't know what happened to the second actual member na ginawa ko po, no? So looks something like this. So you see the procedure, no? Step by step procedure. Mag-edit po tayo ng elevation and then titingnan natin sa 3D. And then if everything goes wrong, we have to remodel or re-edit the attributes in terms of elevations again. So, masyado pong time consuming to do this. So, that's why we propose what we call the working plane. Okay, so to do that, I'll just delete everything first. I'll just go to select mode and just delete everything. And then I will create a working plane. Okay, so at the same plane, gagawa po tayo ng view on the X and Z direction. No? So to do that, I'll just go to draw and then create. Okay, so we will create a working plane. Press this and then just snap it to the desired plane that you want to project. No? So this is my desired plane. Okay, and you will notice biglang mawawala po yung ating drawing. Okay, don't panic. Just switch to the cross-section view and you will see na meron na po tayong panibagong uh, grid lines for our elevations. So right now we are on the Z and X direction. Okay, so the next step is to just relocate the drawing we have right now. Okay, so I'll just relocate it. Maybe the bottom chord will be touching the elevation 0. So dito po. Okay, and then afterwards, we can now create our top chord, bottom chord, and the actual members easily by just tracing. So you see the difference between the traditional and the uh, simplified version. Okay, so let's try to do this by modeling the top and the bottom chord. I'll just press STB-1. So idadrag ko lang po ito. Okay. And then same goes sa bottom chord natin, no? Idadrag ko lang po ito. Right now, we are not tinkering, we are not editing yung start and bottom elevation. Nagbabakat lang po tayo. And this is the one of the good features of the working plane. You don't have to think or to compute for the elevations. Hindi na po tayo malilito. Okay? And I'll just go to STB-2 and same procedure, no? Okay? So, please be reminded na yung limitations po nito is hindi tayo makapag-change ng insertion point, no? So, if I press a snapping point right here, if I press F4, wala pong nangyayari because as of this version, the insertion point is limited to the X and Y direction lang po. No? So just make sure na yung snapping po natin is on the floor bottom elevation. Ito po yun. No? Ito po yun. So because right now, the software considers this top flange as the bottom floor elevation. Kaya doon po siya nag-start. Okay? So itutuloy ko lang po ito hanggang sa matapos natin. And you see, no, you see the difference between the manual method, which is changing the elevation one by one, versus the simplified method, which is working with the working plane, no. Okay, so I just finish maybe just two members for this example. Okay, and then afterwards we can view it on a 3D way. Okay. So I can just turn off this working plane because we created a working plane po kanina. I'll just switch to no work plane. Okay, so let's just go to the floor plan again. And right now, mapapansin nyo po is 2D lang siya along X and Y. Pero kapag tinready ko po ito, you will see that our member is properly drawn based on the working plane we had. Okay, so I think that's it. No, that's the point on how why we do the working plane to trace the non-planar members. Okay, easily. Hindi na po tayo mag-edit nung start and end elevation. So that's it. Thank you for listening, and I hope you find success with this working plane feature. Hi. In this video, we'll be discussing about identification check. So identification check is the new feature of our TAS software. So its aim is to maximize the usability of our auto identification feature for BIMs. So before we dive into the step-by-step procedure, let me just share you a scenario wherein sometimes we have design drawings that may contain incorrect or inaccurate information. Thus, after using the auto identification or auto identify, you may find a lot of errors like this. Okay, so the goal of the auto identification check is to track all, okay, track all the wrong or the errors on the plans or on the models and let you correct it or update it. So in this way, we won't be missing any errors. Okay, so the software will do all the legwork for us in identifying or finding all the errors, and we just have to change its attributes one by one. Okay, so for the step by step procedure, so we just need to use the auto identification feature first. And then afterwards, the software will actually give us the errors, no, the errors in a systematic manner. Okay, it will be grouped based on the kind of error it finds. Okay, so then after that, we can modify one by one the attribute editor. So there's a small attribute editor wherein the name and the section dimensions will be present. And after we edit it, the software will actually count it as correct. So we can proceed to the others until all the errors are already gone. Okay, so for the software operations, let me just show you guys the step-by-step procedure in actual. Hi. So we will be discussing in this video yung new feature of the software called the identification check. So previously po, alam natin na one of the main highlights of the software is the three-step identification rule. But sometimes meron pong mga mali na nahahanap because of some reasons. Like for example, hindi po ma-identify ni software yung proper scaling. Okay? And minsan iba po yung scaling dun sa tag na katabi ng member na yun. Also, it can be baka po may mali sa drawing ni draftsman or ni consultant. So in this patch, we actually find a way to deal with that problems. Okay? So first of all, i-identify lang po natin yung beam. So this identification check is only applicable for beams as of the moment. Pero we are currently working with the other structural elements as well. Okay, so I'll just go to identify here. And let's go to the beams also, no? So right now we will be using the three-step rule, no? Yung pick sideline, pick label, and then auto identify to identify all the beams. So pick sideline. So pick lang po yung sideline that will represent the overall layer of the beam. Then right click to continue. Pick label. So I'll just pick the label. So this is the label, the dimension, and the name. Right click to continue and then auto identify. Press yes. Okay, and you will see, no? You will see that we have already auto-identified all the structural or the beam elements in our structure. So, um, right now, what we need to do is we check if everything is correct, no? So, previously po kasi iniisa-isa natin yan, no? So, maybe if this beam right here, if I go to the select mode, this beam right here, I don't know if this correct or not. No? So, titingnan po natin yung attribute. And then we will check this one by one. Kasi may possibilities rin kasi na walang tag po yung beam and yung section height niya was set into default based dun sa identification options natin. Okay, so for example, if I go to the identification options, yung mga wala pong tag sa beam, yung magiging default height po niya is 500 mm. And yung mga magiging default width niya is the scaled measurement. based on the plans. So may mga times na hindi po dapat yun yung dimension. So we have to manually check it one by one. And if you have a lot of beams, kagaya po nito, hindi natin maisa-isa. Baka kasi medyo malilito rin tayo on the process. So what the new patch did is it includes yung the identification check. So if I press this identification check, automatically the software will track down all the errors, no? So we have 64 errors right now and naka-sort po ito, no? So it, right now our errors are sorted into 5 different concerns, no? Yung una po is automatic nag-default height kasi baka wala pong tag. Number 2, yung size naman ng mga beams hindi angkop based dun sa scale, no? So yung name or yung dimension indicated is not based on the scale. Number 3, yung iba po walang name. Number 4, yung again, meron ring iba na yung default height po ginamit kasi hindi niya mahanap yung name. No? It can be a reason na baka masyadong malayo yung tag. So, ginawa niyang default height. Okay? And lastly, meron pong mga ibang attributes dun sa BIM na dinrawing ni software na iba dun sa tag na pinrovide ni consultant. So, we can actually check this one by pressing. Okay, so if I press this drop down, yung 7 items po magpapakita and we can double click it. And automatically, itatrack po ni software yung tingin niyang mali. Okay, we can actually change the section width and the section height. For example, baka yung section width niya is tama pero yung section height niya ay mali. So maybe we can change this as 600 for example. And after the changing, no, kung okay na po kayo, you will notice na may check mark na po tayo. It means that na-cover na natin siya. So parang tinatrack na rin natin kung ano yung nabago natin or hindi. So that's one good feature of the software. So we can proceed to the next one. So for example, this is the next one. Maybe iba po yung pangalan niya. Maybe this is a TBH-20. Okay, TBH.20. And you will notice after I indicate the name, okay, after I indicate the name, magpo-prompt po si software asking if this is correct. Okay, so if I click yes, notice both the box here and the name here. Mawawala po yung name dito and mache-checkan po ito. It means that the correction has been made. Okay, press yes, nawala, and check na. So we proceed on to the next error. And pwede po natin i-track down everything. Okay? Everything, lahat po na nandito, isa-isa without confusing ourselves. No? So that's a small but a powerful feature of the TAS auto-identification, which is the auto-identification check. Okay, so I hope this helps in your auto-identifying your model by using your plans. Okay, thank you very much, and I hope you find success with this feature.